Be spending the next 2 nights in the New Zealand bush. I'm going to be camping, cooking, making a fire, and exploring. If that sounds interesting to you, why don't you come with me? Return to the same place where our old campfire is. This time, going to be sleeping here in this spot.
New Zealand is full of insects, so I'm going to be sleeping on top of a tarp on the ground to stop the insects and moisture from getting to me. And then I'm going to string up a larger tarp above my head to protect me from rain.
I'm tying anchor bends to the grommets of the tarps. Pretty simple.
If you'd like to learn how to tie an anchor bend, there's a link to a video in the description.
Just taking advantage of the sun that's out. In this mountain range it rains 200 days of the year. Very blessed and very lucky to be getting a little bit of sunlight in here today. Set up my tarp, got to get the fire going, but the time is only about 1:30, so we don't really need a fire yet. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to cut everything down. We are going to have to be very specific about what we choose. So I can see a dead branch just there on that tree. This one here is definitely dead. Here's a big unrooted tree for some reason. Let's chop that up pile. Up here, there's a couple green leaves, but then beyond that point, the tree just dies. This one we're free to just cut down. Just got all these logs from a tree that's fallen over downstream.
Surprisingly, it actually took a lot longer to collect the firewood than it did to actually cut it up into small pieces and categorize it in smaller and larger pieces.
Still got to find some tinder. Fortunately, I know a spot just upstream.
The tinder that I will be harvesting today is a tree fern called punga. The dry leaves of the punga are very combustible when they're dry.
There we go. Got that. And then we've got all the smaller sticks. This is where I'll be sleeping tonight. Just in here. Fire. I reckon I'm going to rearrange the fire, eh? Make it more like a wall. That way it'll reflect the heat into the shelter. No leaves on it, so that's good. Now, I haven't actually been that far upstream before, but we're going to have a look around there, see if we can't find some firewood. This is what I made my bow out of last time I came here. It's just a big vine that comes and strangles trees.
Now unfortunately that bow is no longer with us, due to the bow's overuse, and the fact that it wasn't very good for bow making in the end after all. It snapped in half and is now floating somewhere in the Pacific Ocean.
A natural pool of water to spill away for when the river gets pretty high. That's a pretty big Nikau palm right there. Each one of those little stripes or scars along the trunk represents a year.
Nikau palms are generally found in places of elevations of less than 400 meters, meaning that this river valley must be quite close to sea level, or within 400 meters of it. Nikau has edible berries that grow just underneath the leaves, and in the center of the tree, between all the leaves, there is the heart, which is also edible. However, if you eat the heart of the Nikau palm, it will kill the plant.
And a dead tree limb here. It's good firewood.
Back at camp, we're breaking and cutting the firewood and sorting it into its respective piles of wood.
Next hour, I've just been working on this. Take a look. Yeah, I know. It's not a dam, but it's a bridge. Something that we wanted to create out here last time, but didn't.
If you're interested in watching the video where we came out here last time, attempted to make a bridge, and made the bow I mentioned before, there's a link in the description you can check out.
Took the fire thing apart, and I've replaced it with a massive stone heat reflector from here into my shelter in the night. Just found a pretty cool mushroom here.
As I'm walking higher and higher into this valley, I'm starting to see more signs of mammals. Most likely deer, as they're just walking around, flattening everything and making natural trails. They're quite nice to find because they're pretty straightforward to follow.
There's a whole cave here. Hey, there's glowworms. Look at that.
Glowworms are native to New Zealand, and you can see them here and here. They are the only bioluminescent worm in the entire world. I actually visited a glowworm cave once in the middle of the bush. The link to that video is in the description.
Seems like a good spot for a bath. Now we know there's glowworm caves upstream. And a lot of waterfalls. So that's pretty cool.
I'm using cardboard to light this fire because the first time I lit a fire in this valley, it took about 45 minutes to start. So to get the tinder going, I'm just using the cardboard to give it some initial heat. Using a match or a lighter from your fire lighting kit, place it next to your cardboard, and if it's dry enough, it will ignite pretty quickly. Now, despite the fact that all of this wood is relatively dead, 200 days of rain every year makes wood quite wet, so we will have to dry it out over the fire before we then actually use it as firewood.
Stack the sticks up in like a triangle shape. Two water bottles, plastic ones, so I can recycle it. 1.5 liters. See the moon though. Oh, you can really feel the heat from that fire. Check this guy out here. He just crawled out of a log that was next to the fire.
This is a Wellington tree wetter, which is commonly found here.
I've brought along some popcorn. Yeah. Anyway, I got some popcorn. Getting pretty late now. It's just gone 11. I reckon I'll head to bed now, eh? Pretty chilly. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the morning. You can see all the steam coming out of it.
As the temperature started dropping in the night, the fire started to burn out more quickly, meaning that I had to get up on several occasions in the night to chop firewood. And since there was a lot of moisture in the air, it made it quite hard for the logs to burn. It got cold enough to find ice and frost in the morning.
Good morning, guys. Oh, it's really cold out. And this morning, when I was cutting firewood, I cut my finger, and it was a pretty big cut with the knife, so the piece of paper was kind of the only thing I had to cover it up. It wasn't as bad as the cut that I got on my other finger, though, about 3 or 4 days ago. But it was a very similar one. Same knife, almost same place, my other finger. And today, we got some flour, and there's also some salt in there. And then I've got some olive oil here. Well, I did have olive oil. Does anybody know what temperature olive oil freezes at? Because this is frozen. Let's try this. I want to try this way as well, where I just place the dough on the stone and then chuck that on the embers down here. Taste test of raw dough. Well, if it was cooked properly, then it would actually taste okay, but I do have one issue. When I was putting the salt in, I think I mixed up tablespoons and teaspoons. Bread's pretty much done now. It's looking a lot more solid than the other stuff, that's for sure. That actually tastes like it should. Righto. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. It wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I don't think you thought it was going to be this either. Right, thank you for watching.